Welcome to Narrations. Today we dive into the thrilling, real-life story of deception, charm, and the pursuit of justice in Catch Me If You Can, 2002, directed by Steven Spielberg. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Frank Abagnale Jr. and Tom Hanks as FBI agent Carl Hanratty. This film tells the extraordinary tale of a young man whose audacious cons capture the world's attention. The story begins in the late 1960s with a young Frank Abagnale Jr. growing up in a seemingly ordinary family in New Rochelle, New York. Frank idolizes his father, Frank Sr., and longs for a life of excitement and success. When his parents' marriage falls apart, his world is shaken. Feeling abandoned and desperate, Frank flees the conventional path and begins a life of forgery and deception, relying on his wit, charm, and an uncanny ability to impersonate authority. Frank's first scams are small, but his ambition grows quickly. He forges checks and assumes multiple identities, including that of a Pan Am pilot, a Georgia doctor, and a Louisiana lawyer. Each new persona is meticulously crafted, from uniforms and credentials to convincing language and confident mannerisms. The audience is drawn into his cleverness, watching as he outsmarts banks, airline officials, and unsuspecting individuals, all while staying just one step ahead of the law. Enter Carl Hanratty, a dedicated and methodical FBI bank fraud investigator. Carl quickly recognizes Frank's pattern and begins a relentless pursuit. Their dynamic is electric, a game of cat and mouse that spans continents, with Carl always closing in and Frank always finding a clever escape. Spielberg emphasizes the tension with thrilling sequences of close calls, clever diversions, and high-stakes encounters that make the viewer feel the adrenaline of the chase. Frank's life is glamorous but lonely. He enjoys the perks of his assumed identities: luxury hotels, fast cars, and social prestige. Yet beneath the surface, he longs for connection, family, and the guidance he lost when his parents' marriage crumbled. Moments of vulnerability show that Frank's cons are not just clever games, but also a response to a fractured childhood and a desire to belong. Leonardo DiCaprio perfectly balances charisma with this hidden sadness, making Frank simultaneously infuriating and sympathetic. Carl, meanwhile, is more than a persistent investigator. He becomes a moral compass in Frank's chaotic world, embodying integrity, patience, and compassion. Over time, a mutual respect develops between the pursuer and the pursued. Even as Frank outwits him repeatedly, Carl's persistence never wanes, creating a compelling interplay that drives the story forward. As Frank's schemes become more elaborate, the stakes rise. He forges millions of dollars worth of checks, travels across the globe, and faces moments of real danger as authorities close in. Yet each time, his ingenuity and ability to read people allow him to narrowly escape capture. The film highlights both the thrill of deception and the consequences of living a life built on lies. The climax brings a turning point when Frank is finally caught in France and extradited to the United States. Facing the consequences of his actions, he is given the opportunity to use his exceptional skills legally, working with the FBI to catch other fraudsters. This resolution emphasizes redemption, growth, and the notion that talent, even misapplied, can be redirected toward meaningful purpose. Catch Me If You Can is a masterful blend of suspense, humor, and humanity. Spielberg's direction, combined with DiCaprio's charm and Hank's steady presence, brings the story to life, making viewers feel the exhilaration of the chase and the complexity of human ambition. The film entertains while reflecting on themes of family, identity, and morality. Like this narration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie retellings that bring the story to life.